entire life is about to change, and it might be a little bit of a bumpy ride, but hang in there because I promise everything is working out for you. Best case scenario. Greetings, beautiful being. Welcome back to my channel, Rising with Rachel. I am Rachel, and together we rise in talking about all things cosmic and consciousness. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. If you're feeling like you want to share a little extra love, maybe leave a comment down below. If you don't know what to say happy eclipse season 2024. It's as simple as that. It does help our silly little human earthly algorithm. As much as I don't want to be a part of that, I do want to be a part of spreading the messages that are so deeply needed to be planted in the seeds of the collective consciousness during this time of the most magnificent spiritual awakening that we are seeing in the human collective in all of history, so that the seeds of these messages can bloom in everybody's awareness at the divine time that they're supposed to. Because as we do our own inner work and come into these new awarenesses and mindset states of being and raise our own frequencies, we help raise the frequency of the planet and help Earth embody the fifth dimensional planet that she was always meant to be. And it starts with you and me and our awareness. So let's get into it. Today I come to talk to you about eclipse season 2024, but most specifically the lunar eclipse that we are going to be having on September 17th, 2024. Now, what we know about eclipse seasons is that they are times of deep transformational change. You cannot hide from eclipse season. Anything that you are shoving under the rug, the universe is going to push right back out because it wants you to face everything that you are not, so that you can actually alchemize your experiences, go through them, grow through them, and get on to the next chapter. I feel like there's usually a lot of fear incited around eclipse season because so many people are telling you how your life is about to turn upside down and 180 and 360 and go all over the place. And while that can be true, it is also a matter of perspective, because if things are happening in your life that are less than desirable, that doesn't mean that you have to suffer through them in the way that I feel like a lot of propaganda when it comes to astrology is set up as this thing that you have to fear, and this thing that's on its way to you like doomsday. Like, things change in your life because the universe is trying to make room for better things. So yes, your life might turn upside down. Was it really upside down if everything that you get in response is better than what you already had? Just upside down because it's not what your life has been. So the first thing I want to share with eclipse season 2024 is calm down, because it's really not that serious. As serious as it is, it's also not that serious. It's all about perspective. When you change your mind, you change your life. Just because you potentially might go through a big change doesn't mean that you have to suffer through it. So keep that in mind as you navigate eclipse season 2024. So the two eclipses we'll be having this season is the lunar eclipse happening on September 17th and the solar eclipse that's happening on October 2nd. Now, what's so special about this eclipse season is that these eclipses are going to be the first that we experience on the Pisces and Virgo axis. The Nords will be transitioning into Pisces and Virgo full-time in January 2025, but they have been on the Libra Aries axis since 2023. So why this eclipse season is so special is because it is tapping into the energies of that Virgo and Pisces axis that we are about to transit into. Therefore, the eclipses and what they bring in your life during this time are extremely fated to what is going to be your eclipse story for the next year and a half as the nodes stay on the Pisces and Virgo axis. You are about to be revealed to you little insights, hints, and clues on what your Pisces Virgo story is. So my first piece of advice for this eclipse season is pay attention to everything in your life. Pay attention to what comes, what goes, what circles back around, because it is all a sign on where your evolution and destiny is bringing you towards. Pay attention to the things that come into your life, but also don't be attached to them. Don't think that just because maybe you get a new job that this is your job forever. Maybe it's just teaching you something during this time. Just take it for what it is, that something new is entering your life. That is a new tool that is going to help you further embody your purpose, your highest self. If something leaves your life during this time, know that it is divinely fated and no longer needed in your life to serve your highest good. And if something comes back to circle around in your life during this time, know that it's the universe testing you to see if you have learned the lessons and if you can apply them in real time to what circles back around. If your ex comes back around during this time, don't think that it's divinely fated that they're supposed to be in your life forever. It's a test from the universe that's saying, have you learned your own codes of self-worth? Have you learned your own value? Have you learned how to respect yourself enough to the point that you know that you no longer need to engage with this person, that you can send them love from afar, but that they no longer need to be in your life? Take everything with a grain of salt, but just pay attention to it all. That's the first piece of advice for eclipse season. But in this video, I more so want to specifically talk about the lunar eclipse that's happening on September 17th. For more information on the solar eclipse, don't forget to subscribe so that you can stay updated for when I post my solar eclipse video. But in the meantime, let's talk about the lunar eclipse. September 17th, 2024 is when we are going to have our lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. In case you didn't know, lunar eclipses happen on full moons. Full moons are all about completion, releasing, endings of cycles. They are about illuminating things in our life, right? Because the moon is so bright in the sky. It's like a flashlight in the dark, illuminating the things in our life that no longer serve us. Solar eclipses happen on new moons, which represent new beginnings. They represent new opportunities, new doors that are being opened into our life. But this is a full moon lunar eclipse, which means that this is about endings and releasings and closing doors that no longer serve us in our life. Now, what's also so special about this particular lunar eclipse is that it sits with Neptune, and Neptune is ruled by Pisces, and this is a Pisces full moon. So we are going to have this extra daydreamy energy in the air, this extra illusionary energy in the air. If Neptune is a daydream that keeps us in this imaginary bubble, then the full moon is going to be the thing that pops it and says it's time to face reality. Neptune, just like Pisces energy, is highly associated with escapism energy. So this full moon is going to show you where in your life you have been trying to escape, whether it's through substances, another relationship, your job. You are going to feel this density where it is that you are holding on to the things that no longer serve you. It's going to feel like you are ready to break out of this illusion. This full moon asks us to take a good look at where it is that we are trying to escape reality into our daydreams, but also how we can make those daydreams, that imaginary world that we create in our head to escape our real world, a real tangible reality, so that we don't have to escape our present reality. It's asking us to take a look at where those dreams that we envision are not anchored in reality, because if they're not anchored in any sort of truth and any sort of tangible action, then they will forever stay a dream. One of my favorite quotes is, "A plan without action is just a wish." And that's what this full moon is asking you to take a good look at, is where is it that you can make your wish a reality? Where is it that you have been fooling yourself, that you have not been taking those tangible actions needed to make that dream a physical reality? You know, Neptune rules dreams, and dreams can sometimes be nightmares. So where is it that your life is a nightmare because you are not anchoring in that dream? Like, if the universe gave you the talent to be the world's best flute player, the best musician, and you spent your time wishing that you were this amazing flute player and instead painted pictures of forests because it's just what you were doing, then you are going to waste your potential that the universe gave you because you weren't practicing being the best musician. You are not going to just pick up a flute and be the best musician. You have to learn how to read the music. You have to learn how to find a rhythm. You have to learn how to collaborate with other sound. Dream requires you showing up. And that's what this full moon is asking us to take a look at, is where is it that we are not showing up and putting in that tangible action? Because you're all giving these amazing gifts that help us fulfill our purpose here. All of our gifts are designed and geared towards our purpose, but we don't do those gifts any justice if we are not showing up for them, if we are not taking the time to practice them, if we don't even really know what they are because we can't sit with ourselves long enough, if we don't know how it is to navigate the feelings in our body, then we don't know what it's like to feel an intuitional call on where it is that we need to go. We might misunderstand the intuitive call to play the flute as, oh, I want to paint a flute, when in reality you were designed to be the flute player, not be painting the flute, and at the same time wishing you could play it. You wouldn't know that if you didn't have a good connection with your body and your intuition. So take care of yourself during this time. Also, practice self-care. Sit down for 5 minutes a day and meditate. Meditate in your shower, meditate on a walk. You don't have to do nothing and meditate. You can use your daily practices as meditation. When you create a more conscious connection with yourself and you are able to tap into the feelings in your body, then you can more easily hear the intuitional calls on where it is that you need to be going at the time that you need to be going there. And you will more easily be able to hear the calls of the universe that is gearing you towards your purpose. And then it'll all just start to be like a domino effect. You'll know what inspired actions to then be taking based off of how you feel, what you're producing, etc. But with this full moon lunar eclipse, the universe is asking you to not go against the flow, to force your own will. When we think about Neptune, we also think about the ocean. And essentially what you want to do is stop swimming against the current here. If you think that you are supposed to be a painter, but the universe knows that you're supposed to be that flute player, stop swimming against the tide, girl. Let the tide take you wherever it's supposed to take you. Let those intuitional feelings take you where they're going to bring you. If you don't know why one day you don't want to paint anymore and you just have a feeling to go pick up a flute, even if you suck at it, you feel the call to do it, do it. Don't go swimming against the current. Let the tide take you where it's going to take you, because it's going to wash you up on the shores of your destiny. Universe can bring you to the water, but it can't make you drink it. So it could try to give you the feelings, the intuitional pings, all the angel numbers and signs, but it cannot force you to do the work. It cannot force you to show up for yourself. It cannot force you to take the inspired action on making those dreams a reality, or even just playing around with your experience and seeing what you're led to. Pay attention to what you're being drawn to. This Pisces Virgo axis is an axis of service. Virgo offers the physical service, where Pisces offers the spiritual service. So pay attention to what you're drawn to during this time, because your gifts, your talents, your purpose is geared towards service. All of our purposes are here to help the collective, are here to anchor in specific codes into Earth's crystalline grid system to help her raise her frequency. So you have to pull yourself out of this perspective of how is this thing just my goal and my gift and my purpose, to how is it that I can use this gift and purpose to be of service. And when you start to see your purpose and your gifts through that lens, then I promise you, you're going to find so much more fulfillment in them and probably get more cosmic clarity on what they are, because the universe knows now that you got your priorities straight and it wants you to be the vessel for these creations in order to help us all. But you have to arise to the calling. So some tips I would give you for this full moon lunar eclipse is definitely to take note of everything in your life. Journal things down, what's coming, what's going, who's coming back around. Start noticing the patterns. Pattern recognition is key. Second thing would be to stay in a flow of acceptance and just try to pull back your attachment from anything in your life during this time. What comes, what goes, what comes back around, and just know that you are always being led to your highest truth. And three, really honestly, just take care of yourself. Allow yourself to be nurtured. Drink enough water, eat healthy food, go do a workout, listen to your favorite music, watch your favorite movie, do something that is going to pour back into you, because when you do these things, you are more present in your body. And when you're more anchored in your body, then you can pay more attention to what feels good for you and what doesn't feel good for you. And that's how, through that spirit of discernment, you figure out what feelings to follow, because you'll start following the feelings that feel good, and the feelings that feel good ultimately align you to your highest purpose, because they are the route. Most importantly, just sit with the truth that you can't dance around destiny. What is meant for you will not miss you, and what is not meant for you will definitely say adios. And just take it for what it is and trust all of it, and know that everything that happens during this time is a cosmic course correction, and that it also doesn't have to be something so physical. You don't have to break up with your partner, lose your job. This can also be a very internal experience. Because again, this lunar eclipse is in Pisces energy. So when we talked about that axis of service, Pisces is representative of the spiritual service. So this might just be all work on you through your own mindsets, belief systems, patterns, and programmings, so that you can show up as your best self and therefore provide the best version of you to the people around you, to the environment around you, to the pets around you, to the purpose that you're here to fulfill. It doesn't have to be this crazy, scary thing. But in fact, most of the time, if you sit with the medicine of astrology and realize it comes in really subtle shifts. Biggest shifts feel the biggest when you are not prepared for them, when you don't know the subtle signs of the way that the universe is trying to talk to you. But the quicker that you can see the subtle signs or listen to the universe, the more subtle the change is, and it doesn't feel like this huge overwhelming thing. Because for example, if you were to lose your job, you would probably get inklings that the job was about to leave you, you were about to leave the job, because you're fighting with your manager a lot, your coworkers are kind of making you mad. Something in the air that's definitely foreshadowing the stories. So that's why I say pay attention to what it is, because it doesn't have to be this big revolutionary surprise, but rather can in fact be something that just progressively snowballs from all these small minor changes. And where in a matter of no time you look back and you're like, oh wow, my life completely changed. It didn't have to happen in this rip the band-aid off kind of way. It happened in this really subtle, graceful way. So yeah, pay attention to what comes up for you, because this is going to be a foreshadowing of your Pisces Virgo eclipse story for the next year and a half. And I wish you the best. I wish you the most healing. I wish you the most discernment. I wish you the most acceptance for whatever is in your experience. And just know that you are always being divinely guided. You are always divinely protected. Everything is always working out in your highest favor, and that you are never alone. You have an angelic team around you. You have your spirit guides. You have your starseed lineage. You have your ancestors. You have your physical friends and family. You have me. You have your pets. And you are always where you are supposed to be. Otherwise, you would be elsewhere. But don't forget, everything is always working out for you. Best case scenario. Thank you guys so much for listening to this video. I hope that this information helps you prepare for the lunar eclipse on September 17th. Helps you fear it a little less, but rather understand, as I like to say, how to work with the energies more, so that you can be more receptive to what the universe is trying to show you and give you during this time, so that you can release a little lighter, a little little easier, and that overall your entire process is more healing, more integrated, and more easily alchemized. You are the creator of your own reality. Don't you forget it. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this message. It's an honor to be here in this space with you. Thank you for being on the forefront of this spiritual revolution with me, soldier. I see you, I honor you, I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.